Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Cone, and the Spurs are kind of terrifying. I know it's preseason, you don't want to overreact, but I've been watching a lot of them in preseason, and they look really good. Victor Wembanyama, it feels like he's kind of figuring things out. He's going to take a jump. Dylan Harper looks amazing as their number 2 rookie. He might already be on star watch at the beginning of his rookie season. They added De'Aaron Fox. Stephon Castle looks really solid. They've got better talent now around that group of guys. This is going to be a good team. The question is, how good can they be the jump team in the NBA? That's been the discussion. But of course, it's not just about next season with the Spurs. It's about the one after that and after that and after that for like the next decade with Victor Wembanyama. And it does feel like the dominance could start this year. I have been trying to figure out where I'm going to put the Spurs in my standings because last year I was behind on the Houston Rockets. They were the jump team in the NBA. Of course, the Pistons were 2 out east, but the Rockets were like kind of the big story. And I thought they were going to be a playing team kind of at best. I felt like they were still a year away from really cracking that upper echelon in the West, but they went ahead and did it anyways. And now they've got Kevin Durant and they're in the championship contention picture. Things can spiral fast in this league. And if there's any team that could go ahead and take that leap, it's one that's led by Victor Wembanyama and has a ridiculously talented young core alongside him. So I'm dropping my prediction video this weekend. I don't know where to put them, but I'm starting to think maybe I should move them up a little bit from where I currently have them on my list. Because it does start with Wemby. I mean, when you have a guy that I believe will be firmly consensus top 5 by the end of the season, your floor and ceiling raise quite a bit. I remember when all of the ESPN Bleacher Report like publication top 100 player lists came out this summer, Wemby was being ranked like 6th, 5th, 7th by a lot of these lists, and people were kind of mad saying, what has he shown so far? Is he actually that good, or are we just basing it off the hype? I think he's firmly top 10. I think he has to be in any person's top 10 player list at this moment. And I think after this season, that's not even a discussion. And if you have him anywhere beyond like 7th or 8th, you're just straight up a hater. Because last year, he was going to win DPOY. He was going to be at least All-NBA second team, if not first team, if he didn't miss the end of the season with deep vein thrombosis. He put up 24.5, 11, 3.8 blocks, 4 dimes, shooting 35% from 3 as a 7-3 guy. Like that is so ridiculous. And I don't think people realize just how good some of that offensive progression was. Like the 3-point shot at the beginning of the year, he's putting up like 12 a game, and people are saying, why isn't he, getting in the paint a little bit more? It feels like he's shooting way too many threes, but then he kind of caught a rhythm, and he only played like just over half the season and managed to hit 142, which was the same amount as Cat. Now, Cat, of course, didn't shoot as high of a volume, and Cat was much more efficient, but still, the fact that he can get him up and knock them down at that rate is a terrifying thought for someone who kind of just started to do it last season. And if he had played all 82 games on that same pace, he would have finished with 253 made threes, which would have put him 6th in total threes made last season, ahead of guys like Jason Tatum, Tyler Hero, James Harden, Zach LaVine, Jordan Poole. Like, these are guys that had phenomenal shooting seasons, volume and efficiency wise. Wemby would have been in that type of conversation as a guy who is also just impossible to stop at the rim. And here in the preseason, he looks stronger. He looks more decisive. He looks taller. He's listed at 7'5" now. How is it even possible? He's still growing. It feels like the game is slowing down for him. When I'm watching him out there, he's making better reads to his teammates. He's timing his spots a little bit better. He's getting where he wants to go. It seems like he's kind of starting to understand the NBA at a higher level. And I think with the talent that he has, the frame that he has, like, it was just only a matter of time until he's like, oh, okay, this is how the NBA works. Okay, cool. I'm just going to dominate everybody now. And I think this season is kind of when it starts. Like, I'm not going to be shocked when Wemby makes All-NBA first team and is DPOY unanimously. That's not going to surprise me at all. It's not going to surprise me when he makes 253s. Okay, maybe 250 is a lot. Like 225, 203s. That won't shock me whatsoever on improving efficiency. And he averages like 26, 12, and 4 blocks. Like, how can you tell me that's not a top 5 player in the world, if not even higher than that? And when you have a guy making that type of impact, I think it's hard not to be like, could this team be really good this season, especially if the supporting cast does step up? And De'Aaron Fox has had a couple of down years since that one really good one where he won Clutch Player of the Year in Sacramento. But I think here in this new environment where there's actually like hope of being competitive, he can kind of get back to that a little bit, and playing alongside Wemby, the best player he's ever played with, should make things a lot easier. I'm still in on De'Aaron Fox. I'm not giving up on him, but a lot of people have kind of sold their stock. I'm not out on Fox. Fox. I think he was a great pickup, and he's going to be really fun with Wemby. But Dylan Harper is probably the guard I'm most excited about because Harper has looked really good. Of course, he was like the consensus second overall pick, very highly touted. Like, it's no surprise that he's good, but it feels like he kind of just already understands the NBA like off rip. His playmaking has been really impressive. His burst, getting downhill, finding his teammates on the perimeter. Like, I think he and Wemby are very quickly going to develop this unstoppable two-man game. He just feels like the perfect fit at the guard spot going forward for Victor Wembanyama. And maybe that creates interesting conversations of, do they trade a De'Aaron Fox at some point? Stephon Castle, like, does he end up going? Because I think Dylan Harper is the one I'm like, for sure, do not get rid of him. He has to be like the guy going forward if he has the upside I think he does. But thankfully, you know, Fox can kind of slot to a 1 or a 2. Stephon Castle can play up a little bit more if you need him to. And by the way, he's also looked really good. I'm not saying to throw him to the Wolves, but it's crazy that the Spurs have this luxury where they have these 3 very talented guards with a bunch of upside, and they can just be like, we'll just pick 2 of them. You know, we can trade the other one in some package to inevitably get another star next to Victor Wembanyama, because that's still a very real possibility too. If the Bucks suck this season and Giannis is like, I want out, the Spurs still have easily one of the best packages out of any team to go after him, or anybody who suddenly pops up on the trade market. So they could do that this season. They could do that next summer. This all makes them even scarier because it feels like whenever they want to hit that red nuclear button and put another elite talent next to Victor Wembanyama, they can just go ahead and do so. Devin Vassell is still a very capable scorer, and I think he's going to have a little bit less of a role with the growth of Wemby, a full season of De'Aaron Fox, but that could allow him to be a bit more selective, a bit more efficient, and of course just makes him more dangerous because now they're worried about Wemby and Fox and maybe even Castle and Dylan Harper, like all these guys. So it's going to give Vassell some great opportunities to just take advantage of sleeping defense. Harrison Barnes is a great role player. Keldon Johnson, I think, could bounce back a little bit from a down season. Carter Bryant was a phenomenal pick. It feels like he's going to be an impactful 3-and-D player from day one, and you give him a couple of years, I think there's a chance he's a fully fledged starter in this lineup, just providing great two-way impact next to Wemby, Harper, whoever is still a part of this core, 2-3 years down the line. They just have done a great job. Jeremy Sohan, Julian Champagny, another couple of interesting role players too. And then you talk about the big spot, which was a big issue for them last season, where anytime Wemby left the court, the defense completely collapsed. Like, they had a 112.7 defensive rating with Wemby on the court last season, which would have ranked 12th in the NBA over the full season. And with him off the court, it was a 120.4, which is dead last in the NBA. Worse than any team. You think your team's defense is bad? The Spurs without Wemby last season were even worse. And obviously, there's going to be a drop-off when you take a guy like him off the court, but now they bring in like Luke Cornett, who is a very capable backup big and gives them a much better option to soak up minutes when Wemby walks out. Even like a Kelly Olynyk, who's not this great defensive big, gives them a higher floor when he ends up needing to rest. You can also play Wemby next to both those guys and I think find success, whether it's Olynyk shooting or it's Cornett's rebounding, his ability to be down low and allow Wemby to just go ahead and patrol the perimeter and be a roamer. Like, there's so much versatility, a lot you can do with this team, and when they are so young, when there are so many guys who could pop, and again, that top tier franchise player level talent, all NBA guy, when you have somebody like that, it feels like you can pop off and go all over the place. You could end up almost anywhere in the West standings up until like you get to like the 3 or the 4 spot. Like, I think them having home court advantage is a little bit too much for me. I mean, maybe they could pull it off if some teams deal with injuries, but I think there is a possibility that they land like 5, 6, definitely up to 7 and 8. I don't want to spoil my season predictions, but earlier today I just did like a rapid fire one, and I think I had them like 9, but I don't know. I just feel like that's low. I feel like I'm going to be behind the curve again. Like, I'm telling you how terrifying they are, and what, I'm going to go rank them 9th when I do my standings predictions on Saturday, my full video. It feels kind of crazy. But then again, like, it's not just this season for them, it's next year, because we think about how good they could be this year. Give them a year where Dylan Harper can take a sophomore leap and Wemby's in year 4 at that point. I mean, come on, like, by next year, they will be a staple towards the upper echelon of the Western Conference. The question is it coming this year? And I think it's very, very possible, even if I ultimately don't predict them as this big time jump team. Because there is a lot of talent in the Western Conference. The Thunder, the Rockets, the Nuggets, the Wolves, the Clippers, the Lakers, the Warriors, like off the top of the dome, those are 7 really good teams. Oh, and the Mavericks. No, I forgot somebody. An 8th team that I think could be pretty damn good this season. The Spurs could also do that. Spurs have Wemby, who's a better player, a better top player than what a lot of those teams have. Why couldn't they take a jump? Why can't they be the Houston Rockets of this season? I don't think there's a lot of reasons that they can't be. It might just come down to, it is a young core. Is everybody going to take a jump? There's a chance of some regression or stagnation. Is the defense going to be good enough with Wemby off the court? Did they do enough to address that? What is their offensive ceiling? Because there will be some ups and downs for Dylan Harper as a rookie ball handler. That's always going to be the case. Is the 3-guard thing kind of wonky with Stephon Castle there and De'Aaron Fox? Can Fox, bounce back a little bit from those down seasons I was talking about? Like, there are reasons to have question marks about the Spurs. 100%. I'm not denying that. I mean, again, I might rank them in the back half of the play-in, but also if you're one of those people that's like, yeah, I think they could take a big leap and be like the 5th seed in the Western Conference, I don't think you're that crazy. I think there's very valid reason to think that, and maybe even expect it if you're a Spurs fan, if you're a true believer in Wemby, like I am, they could pull it off. 100%. But for right now, we'll just have to wait and see. And, if this isn't the season where they take the leap, know that it's the last one. This is the last season, if it is even a season, where they're going to be outside of the playoffs, outside of the top 6, because by next year, they're adding another piece. Or they're just going to have crazy development from the insane star power that they have on this roster. The guys just are young and aren't quite there yet. So one way or another, the Spurs are going to be terrifying. The NBA should be terrified. I'm terrified, We'll see. I think you give it a couple years, and as a Thunder fan, I'm going to be seeing, a lot of the San Antonio Spurs in the playoffs and in maybe the Western Conference Finals. But for right now, those are my thoughts on the Spurs. Let me know down below in the comments, where are you predicting them to finish in the standings? Are they a jump team for you, or you still have them kind of around like that play-in range? Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Also, hit the hype button, because that's a thing now. I don't really know what that does all too much, to be honest, but go ahead and hit it, because I'm sure it can't hurt. But yeah. Again, I will have my full NBA predictions video. That's awards, that's standings, that's playoffs, champion, everything in between. Probably Saturday is when it's going to come out, Saturday or Sunday. I'm hoping to have it out by Saturday. So yeah, be on the lookout for that, and let me know some of your predictions for this season before I go ahead and make mine concrete. But for the moment, I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all later. Real one, safe back.